Hey, all right. Hi friends, it's Fox here. I feel very called to talk about why. Why? I'm very called to talk about like why I'm posting these videos and why it feels important to share the journey of my late diagnosis of autism and kind of all the things I'm learning as I go through it. And there's a few reasons. Number one is I look at people I've come across in the last couple of years who've disclosed autism diagnoses to me and who aren't like open about it. Like they're open, but they're not like, you know, well, they're not posting their journey on the internet, I don't think. You know, they kind of like discreetly disclose it to me. And this was happening before and now after. And part of me, like the mystical part of me, was like I needed that to fall into my consciousness enough until I could learn that's what's going on with me, and maybe these people were seeing the traits in me and therefore that's why they were disclosing. That might have been part of it, but also I realized that it's really hard. There's like a busy street on the other side of this beautiful viewpoint and it's very distracting, but I'm trying to be here with you. But anyways, so part of me is looking at that and being like, shit, should I not be open of it? And like, what type of discrimination am I gonna get? But the other side of me is like, I've masked it and hid it for so long that like the discrimination was still there. Just no one knew that it was because it was autism, you know? And I was like not good to myself at all because I didn't know it was autism, and then I was taking all the stuff that was going on with me and all this like dysregulation and inability to filter and then be functional and like attaching all these other stories to it. And that was really quite damaging. And I was like, oh, there's a problem I have to fix. Oh, there's a problem I have to fix. And the problem wasn't what I thought it was. The problem was I needed more comfort in my life and I needed less like, oh my gosh, you know what? I always wear a hat and yet I feel like they actually kind of like itch my head and make me feel uncomfortable. But, oh, back to why this is important. Right, so like why do I feel called to post these and put these out there? And I think a big reason, again, is like I want to speak for the community. I want to speak to my experience. I've already, you know, lost enough and failed in 10,000 ways through denying it and masking it. So I'd much rather live authentically. The other thing is that it's all I want to talk about all the time, and people are getting fucking sick of hearing the word autism all the time, and that's all I want to talk about all the time. So if I share it with y'all, if a few people want to listen, if I have a mode to express out to the void, maybe that'll get the urge to tell these stories just squashed and done and out. 3 is I've got to start somewhere, because I actually have a much bigger vision for this that I think ends in a full-on fucking TV series that isn't actually linked to this, but is kind of linked to this. So it's gonna be sci-fi, it's gonna be queer, it's gonna be super fun and funny, because I don't think we have enough comedy sci-fi out there. Come on, people. So I'm working on that script right now, but there are so many little phases and things and stuff in between where I just want to share what I'm geeking out about, because if I'm geeking out about all this stuff anyways, why am I not sharing it? And if I need to be creative, why am I not investing my time and energy and all that stuff that way? So yeah, I'm really excited. There's that artist urge to need to express and talk and stuff, and this is the first step. This is what's present, and so this is what I share. And then I think I have a lot of intersections of identity that like, yeah, might marginalize me, but also a lot that are very, very privileged. And if this has been my experience going through this with like the privilege of being white in Canada and still living in the country I was raised in and having decades worth of community support behind me, even when I'm not good at the reciprocity, I'm still learning how to engage in community in a way that is reciprocal but not draining. If I've got all that privilege and it's been this hard for me, why not share? So maybe it helps people that don't have those extra steps up to be able to understand their journey and hopefully feel confident to like talk more about it and all that stuff. And then I think with age comes some wisdom of perception or perspective. So with age comes some wisdom of perspective and like just less fucks given. If I really, really like someone, I care deeply what they think about me. I get very, very anxious at the thought of being misunderstood. But most people, I'm kind of like, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. The right people will stick around and the wrong people will go away. And I think that is a confidence that I could only gain through experience and through having amazing friends that have been in my life forever. Even if years go by and we're not close, and then all of a sudden we're back in each other's lives. And I have the ability to talk about this, and I'm geeking out about it. And I think the other thing is that like one of my biggest privilege was getting to go to theater school on the West Coast and have this lineage of this like heart-centered acting practice that was medicine to all that is autism. That's allowed me to talk and express and be friendly with people and all these things, even if there's still a deficit. And that's the other thing. There are so many superpowers, and I'm in a place with my diagnosis that I see all of the superpowers, but I'm starting to see why it's a disability. And I think sometimes it gets like propped up in people that know a little bit more about it. But I really want to try to be honest, because there's this other part of me that's like, wait, what the fuck? Like other people are just going throughout their lives and they don't hear all of this, and they don't feel every piece of clothing on their skin all the fucking time. And then I have this whole intuitive thing. So on top of all of this external 3D world shit that I'm feeling, I'm picking up on energies, I'm picking up on other people's thoughts, I am picking up on past lives, I am picking up on future timelines. Like and I managed to move through the world weirdly, but I still managed to move through it. And other people are out there and they just get to live their lives without all this extra. But also that makes me kind of sad, because I love the way my brain works. I just don't love the way certain things aren't set up to like accommodate that. And then sometimes people get mad because they're like, well, yeah, I'd like to have it easier too. Well, yeah, because the world is fucking hard right now, because we're asked to fucking work 40 plus hours a week to barely survive. And then we're still supposed to be good community members, and we're still supposed to be good family members, and blah, 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 blah. And we can't even afford fucking groceries. Yeah, we all want it to be easier. And disability fucking allows that. I'm gonna give you an example. I didn't know this rant was gonna go here, but I'm gonna give you an example. So something that became standard is that you have to have ramps on the corner of sidewalks, and that's a disability thing that got put in place for wheelchairs. But it makes life easier for people on bikes, people with strollers, I don't know, people pushing carts around, whatever it is, it makes the world easier and better for so many people to move through, regardless of whether or not they have a disability. And so, yeah, I'm mad at this harsh world that is hard for everyone to exist in, but then extra hard for people that have other benefits. Deficits that are not necessarily deficits, but they're deficits because of how society is built and structured. So anybody out there thinking, yeah, well, I'd like it easier too. Yeah, let's make it easier for everyone, you dumb fucks. That's my other thing. Dumb fucks. I'm gonna have a dumb fuck series, and it's gonna be my Autism Speaks Truthfully. So there you go. That's why it's important. Stick around for all this stuff. You're not dumb fucks unless you think the world's just meant to be harsh, and that because you had to go through things harshly, everyone else should have to. That's stupid. Why don't we be softer and gentler, and you can have that too if we create that world for everyone. Okay, love you, bye.